Right then, what have we got here? We've got a tremendous race. Zwift Games, Stage 2, the Hudson Hustle. Just look at that graphic, top right. I think we've got just over 700 feet of climb. We've got 212 riders. I want to talk about one thing, this Zwift Games. And I want to talk about, you may ride all year in your category. You may be coming in the top 3, the top 5, the top 10 in races with 50 riders, typically during the year. If you want to know the level you're at, just wait for the Zwift Games, ride in your category, and I promise you, the best of the best come out to play. I'm not going to give away where I finished here, but ordinarily you'd consider it a ridiculously poor result. I've seriously put in a huge effort in here, and I've struggled at the end, and you'll see. I won't spoil it, but the riders, I'm top of this category. I think I was 509, and this category is 390 to 510. And you'll see, going up these climbs, I'm absolutely struggling to stay in the front group, even in a bunch, and struggling to climb. And these short, punchy climbs are exactly what I'm usually very good at. So, look, someone's gone off there in a group of 212 riders. What I did notice in this race is there were groups working almost to team orders, and you do see it in the chart, but it's more obvious as you see the riders with their team name in brackets later on, and they're just working together, and that makes it doubly difficult when you're just an individual. So it's just unbelievable. The stage 1 in Zwift Games was unbelievable. A lot of YouTubers commented it was just like an FTP race. You're racing at similar, just below, just above your FTP. People were breaking personal records for 5, 15, 20-minute rides. FTPs going up left, right, and centre. Stage 2, let me tell you, has been no different. Here we go for the first bit of a climb, really. It's been a steady yellow. There's orange here. It was dark in the UK, hence I've not put the video on the left-hand side. Believe me, when you see the finishing result, you won't be questioning whether it was me or not, because it's perhaps better I don't put my name to this race. Look at the top left, 301 average. We're 1.3 miles in. We've only had one climb, bit of a descent now. Look at the graphic. It is lots of punchy little climbs, and I've got to say, these Zwift Games, regardless of whether they're flat, hilly, punchy, don't underestimate. This one's just under or just over 12 miles. I don't care about the distance. At that level of flat out, full gas, it's a very, very difficult race. So let's look. I'm in the front pack here. You're watching this and I'm making it look pretty easy. I'm at 288 average, top left, having to stay. Well, there's a punchy climb there, so that doesn't indicate what I'm having to do in the pack. But I'm 250 plus watts. Look, people gone off again. I mean, who's attacking with 11 miles to go when there's a pack behind them of must be at least 150, 175? I mean, that's ludicrous. Nobody does that in any other races I've seen. Well, certainly not in my category. Tell me if they are in the advanced. Yeah, just watching this. So we're just coming on a descent here, and then we're going up, punchy climb, descent, and then you go into the underground. From about halfway, you can see the descent, the flat, and the ascent, and that's doubled up, probably 3/4 through the race. That's on the underground, New York Underground, going down the escalator and up the other side, obviously. and then you got a bit of a bumpy finish to the end. There's one power up, probably 9/10 of the way through the race, about 11.5, 12 miles. That's about it. We've done 150 feet, 5 minutes, 276 average. So it has slowed a bit, but here we go. Concentrate, orange, yellow, orange. Bit of a descent, back into the orange. And then that'll take us to probably the highest point on the course, albeit there's a repeat of that after the descent. Just over 10 miles to go. 402 watts on this climb. To give you an idea, so that 402 watts would be, what's it saying, 5 watts a kilo for me. I'm 75 kilos. Bit of a breather in a second. And then we go again, long orange climb. Look at the bubble, the top right. Nobody's getting dropped. I'm having to stay at the front. And it does look on paper, well, on screen, as if, oh, Mike's cruising here. Absolutely cruising, just sat at the front. Believe me. We'll go through this orange part here. Bit of a climb. If I remember, I'm pretty much trying to stand up the whole way. I've used the feather early, so that, and that seems to be, well, look, half of the riders are, half aren't. So I suspect sooner or later they'll all use the feather. Pretty straight, you can see where the top is, so that gives you an indication. And it's this glass road. And then to the halfway point, you've got a bit of flat, jagged ups, steep descent, flat, descent down into the underground. Then you're at the absolute trough of the race. See what happens. 5 watts a kilo for me there-ish. No, 340, just under actually. They're just pulling away there. I suspect I tried to sit down on the yellow, which is where I try and get a bit of a rest, but I can't be doing that too often because the pack will just run away. I reckon I'd stood up pretty much 90% of that climb. And you see here, people start going past. So there's no time to relax, no time for a break. They're coming through. Look on the graphic there, it has caused a bit of chaos. And there are some riders kind of getting dropped, but I suspect now with the descent, they're just going to pull into the group. This pack was so competitive. I was giving it absolutely everything. 285 average, 8 minutes gone, 328 feet. Is that a split at the top for 2 groups? Right, that second group going to catch up. Because there were quite a few in that second bunch. It looks like they're trying to catch up there. I think they're going to get absorbed into the front group there, the lot of them, yeah. Yeah, they're in the back. 290 watts. The warm-up is done. Yeah, blimey. Maybe for you, but it's a killer for me. Look how quick everyone's gone up that first bit of climb. I think people have just stood up from the start there. Treated it like they do with the escalators actually in the underground. Well, it's just a full-on 600 watt sprint for me. What am I doing there? 525, which is 7.5 kilos. What's a kilo? For me, 550. I sustained that pretty well. Kept over 400 watts. Look at the front. They split the pack again. That's all going to converge into one, though. I'm absolutely sure of that. When you get this train-like effect, you're seeing that, the difference in some riders who are still pulling at the front of that pack Still got the energy to pull into the wind. I'm well positioned here, but this was doing a lot of damage. I actually felt, I'm going to speed this up, we're just descending, nothing going on, the pack's all together, nothing to write home about here, nobody dropped, as you can see, top graphic. Here we go, we're coming up to the escalator. I reckon I'm going to have to do 600 up the ascent if I'm going to stay near that front. 261 average, right, we're all pretty normal. That's because we've been on a descent for about perhaps 1.5 2 miles. Those climbs at the start, I'll just go back to, really took it out of me. At this point, my legs were a bit like jelly, and I was literally just getting up and pushing those legs through those pedals. What am I doing here? This would be an indication. 599, 638 watts. So yeah, and I had massive pains in my legs after. I'm happy to be at the front there, but look, can you see them all coming through? I'm still very well positioned. 5.2 miles to go. God, I don't know how many people are in this bubble, but I reckon it's perhaps 150, unless you can tell me otherwise from the start. Got a bit of a climb coming up here, a shortish, be a yellow and orange. I think it's almost, from memory, it's a step. Yeah, it is 3 steps. You can see on the graphic, but it's 3 little steps, but people put their foot down on here. Nobody's holding back. This really is an honest reflection of where you are. Where you finish in these Zwift games is the reality of where you are within your category, I think, realistically, especially with 200 plus riders. I would say if you want to honestly test yourself, you need to be getting on the prime races. If you're finishing top 10, podium, top 20 on these prime races, you're at the top end of your category, and you will be being promoted very soon. And I suspect you're the riders that are winning, or at minimum top 3, top 5 on the rest of the year's races in the category. Here we go. So we've got an orange, a bit of a, just over 4% here. Someone's gone off powerfully there. What am I doing? 450 odd, just over 5 watts a kilo. And I'm at the front. Again, you think I'm cruising here just watching this. My thighs were in absolute agony just doing this. And every time I was thinking, I cannot face another climb. Cannot face another climb. And you see how they're pulling again. So you got this train effect. And there's still 4.3 miles to go. That never happens when you've got 20 to 50 riders. Look, they're still pulling. There's another ramp here. In the blue bit, I almost just come off the pedals for 1, 2 seconds and bang, push it. And that's a nice technique. They're coming through there. I'm not doing enough watts, you see there. Look, 486 watts. I was actually pushing there. Get over the crest. There's not too much of a descent, but a bit of a breather. And you see they're going off. 4 miles to go, and I'm getting dropped here. Can you see this? Front group. There's a front bubble there. I stood up, if I remember, to get back into that group. It says I'm doing 12 watts. I'm sure I stood up to get into that group. Let's fast forward on this descent. We'll go back into the underground in a minute. And then we're going to come up here, climb up here, and probably about 2 miles to go to the finish. 258 average. Now I've done more than that, albeit on 10 miles stage 1. I was up to 264, I think. good 3.6 watts a kilo. That 260 is probably 3.5, so a solid effort. But for some reason, my legs were really struggling. Perhaps I've overtrained on Zwift. What a position I'm in here. Look, full draft. And we're approaching. And I just tried to give it all I had. Again, that's all I do. I could only do that. Give it absolutely everything. But I'd burnt up. Let's see what I get to. 532, 570. Over the top. Right, thank goodness, I'm thinking. Now, usually, 1.8 to go here. This is where I struggle on the catch up. Look, I'm not doing 200 watts. It's pathetic. I'm nicely in the draft. Just recovering a bit there, but I'm too far behind here. 27th, they could easily. This group, I reckon, isn't. See, I stood up there just to get to the front. I'm absolutely maxed here, though. That was just to stay in contention. And I'm sure the other riders are not even thinking that. Look, down to 208 watts. I'd blown up here with 1.5 to go. I'm right at the back of the pack. That's not intentional. Stood up again. Look, 481 watts. Get into the middle just to get a breather. 88 watts. I was done here. 1.4 out. I've never blown up that badly before. And look, it's only flat to go. And I'm right in the pack in a perfect position. And I just had nothing in my legs when I sat down. I am at maxing here at 200. And I'm floating in the draft here. But we know what's going to happen with a mile to go. People are going to sit down and put the power down, 300, 400 watts sat down, and then planning for a sprint. Still okay. You think, I'm going to get a top 20 here, Mike, is easy. I think there were, on reflection, 70 odd riders here in this pack, perhaps 80. Still well positioned, 1.1 to go. Stand up, stay in that front. Here we go. And this is all it is to the finish. This is perfect for me, these little bumps. I absolutely feed off things like this. But I couldn't put the power down. Ordinarily, I'd have piled through that. I'd be right at the front. 600 watts. Look, 430. That's not good enough. That's not enough. I'm 100 watts down there than I would be attacking that usually, like on the Glasgow reverse circuit, 0.7 miles. And look, I'm being dropped here. This is where I get dropped. I can't put any more power down. I just went to absolute jelly there. 160 watts, 278. I'm trying to recover. 429. Stood up. Anything left, 0.6 of a mile. But I know as soon as I sit down, I have nothing, and I'm 70th. You can see they've gone now. Dropped. Nothing left. Cruising around, everybody's overtaking me. It's because I'm doing 240 watts. Stood up again, 433, 436. Not even catching, not even making a dent. 129, 38 watts. Pathetic. It was really disappointing. My legs gave way, basically. And I always give full heart to the end. But once I was dropped there, look, there's 2 riders behind me. I'm 76th. Put a bit of power because I didn't want to lose. Even get caught by those last 2 riders in the front group. Dear. One climb to the finish and they caught me there. 900 feet to go. I'm doing 150 watts. What do I expect? They're not absolutely. Look, the guy in front, knackered as well. 287, 374. So I tried to stand up. 403, 230, 77th. Oh dear. The ridiculous thing, I gain a ZRS point because I'm in the top half, but 77th is pathetic. Actually passed someone there. They've just died. Flipping heck. Honestly, this Zwift Games, unbelievable. I don't know what my title is going to be for this video. It just needs to reflect the pain I was in and everybody else is in. Respect to anyone finishing the top 50 there. Ended up with 3.4. I mean, that's disappointing. Burnt out. I'm going to wait perhaps 2 or 3 days, give my legs a rest after this. It's no good. Keep pushing it. Looks like 3.6 watts above me. I mean, that's strong, 289 watts. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will be back after a little bit of a rest. Thank you.